Hi everybody, I hope you're all well and have had a great week. So this week I'm just at my desk in my little home studio room and I'm going to make some junk journal pages. I'm not actually going to make a journal today, I'd like to sometimes just make a load of pages, put them all together, and then when I feel like making a junk journal I just have a look through and see how many pages I've got and see what I've got, and then I put them all together. So I'm just going to show you how I decorate some of the pages. When I'm making a junk journal, I don't decorate all of the pages if I'm making one to sell, because I like to leave blank pages for people to add their own input, whether they want to make it an art journal or they just want to scrapbook or use it as an actual notebook. Imagine that. So let's get going and I'll show you what I've got so far. So here I have a collection of paper. Some of it I've already worked on before and some of it I haven't. Some of it is old scraps from art books and some of it is just envelopes. So these are literally bits of junk mail that have come through the door that I've screwed up into a tight ball with a little bit of water and unwrapped them and let them dry. And then I've just painted them with some acrylic paint in this case. And I like to tear this up and use it as just decorative strips if I'm making a little bit of a collage on some of the pages. So I have quite a few of these that I've done. This is just a little bit of wrapping paper, paper that I use quite a lot to wrap my art in. When it's going off, it's eco bubble wrap, essentially. It's made from recycled paper and I like this. It's a little bit of texture. Sweet wrapper, always useful. It's great to add a little bit of colour and texture. And then I have just more little bits of paper that I do often use as scrap. This is an old sheet of music paper, which is great just to add a little bit of interest in a collage. And then these are the actual envelopes. So you all know what an envelope looks like. All this junk mail and other stuff comes through the door. So what I like to do is just open out the envelope. Tear along these edges. And there you have a piece of paper that you can either cut, fold, however you want, so that you actually have pages for a junk journal. So you need to decide how big you want your journal. I'm going to tear, whoops, sorry. I'm going to tear down the middle with this one. So whether you cut or tear your junk journal depends on how you want it to look. If you want it to be nice and neat, then obviously cut. If you want it to be a little bit rugged, then tear. And these little windows in the envelopes are great because when you have this as a page on a journal, you can either leave it as a clear window or have something behind it. So a lot of time in these envelopes you get writing on them, so that's what I like to use my scrap bits of paper for. So we have a lovely little bit of musical notes there. I'm just going to stick that down on there. So I haven't actually designed this journal. I'm going to use this piece of paper to glue on. So I haven't actually come up with a concept for this particular one yet. I'm literally just making pieces of paper. and some of them will match, some of them won't. And I'm just going to tear that little bit off there and use that little bit to stick there as a random piece. So you can leave these pages as white, or you can leave them as blue, or you can decorate them with some inks or whatever you like. I'm going to refold it there so that it's an even piece. I'm going to leave this piece as white actually. So there, that's already one piece for my junk journal. Here's another one that I did earlier. This one I've added some of my oat gall ink, both with the iron and just neat. And this one's it's a larger sheet, but I'm going to leave that because I can always tear it if I want to. And I'm going to leave the word private on there because I think that's quite fun. So there's 2 sheets already. Let's tear this envelope. This is a different shaped envelope. Some of them tear easier than others. This one's really well stuck. So this one's quite a large piece, so you can actually use it as single large sheets if you wanted to, or you can tear it, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tear it so that I have some smaller sheets. Just going to move you this way. So these rough edges here, I'm just going to tidy them up a little bit. And then what I'm going to do, I think, is decorate. I quite like the gold edging sometimes, that's really nice. And just cut it into little strips, and then you can put it along the bottom or the top. I also have some nice pink tissue paper. And some of my torn paper, which I quite like, so I think I'm going to use a piece of this. I'm just going to tear it. And then add some glue. Where should we put it? I think we'll put it along here because that little bit of edge there was torn, so it will just strengthen that little bit. And you can just tear it off at the end. Yeah. Let's add a little bit there. with the junk journals, I know the fashion at the moment is to have all of this kind of trendy layering up of stuff, and it does look great, but I kind of like the just rough collage kind of look. So let's add a little bit of pink across the bottom there, just because, why not? It doesn't matter if it gets a little bit crinkled and screwed up, that gives a better effect. In fact, I'm going to just crinkle that edge there. I'm going to add that little bit there. So when you're doing this collage like this, you can literally just do what you like. And if you want it to look really pretty, you can make it look really pretty. If you want it to be rough and just a little bit kind of slightly decorated but nothing too fancy, you can. So there's plenty of space there for people to journal now. And on the insides, these look a little bit boring. And there's also a sticky bit there where the envelope was stuck. So let's add something there as well. It's really nice sometimes to use, I wonder if that would fit on there. I think it would. To use small envelopes that you get. This was had something in, I can't remember what, but I saved the package because they just make really good little secret pockets. You can just stick them on wherever you want, and then that's an instant secret pocket. So all I need to do to this one is add something on there to make it look a bit prettier, and add something there because that sticky bit's still there if I wanted to use that. But I think I'm going to use a piece of musical note. Tear it in half, so then I can collage it. If you want to age the paper so it's not white, you can just use a tea bag, a wet tea bag, just rub it all over, and then obviously let the paper dry and you'll get that aged effect. I might continue this completely over there, or shall I cover? I'm going to cover that little bit up there because that's got a bit of staining on it, so I keep knocking the sometimes I like to draw in the junk journals as well. Yeah, let's just cover up that stain. There's a little bit of a stain there as well, so we might just add something that goes across there. Just see what other bits of paper I've got. Sometimes just using the bits that you've torn off from the envelope works quite well. Just using the reverse side. Yeah. Let's try that. Here we go. So we just have two sheets now. Just need to dry out a little bit before I stick them anymore. So if you imagine this was a page in a junk journal. So we need to just do something to the back because the back looks a bit boring. So I think instead of sticking, I'm going to get my walnut ink and my trusty feather. I'm just going to draw a nice little, guess what? Yep, it's a tree. And the walnut ink will be light enough so that people can still write over it. I'm going to do it a nice wavy tree as well. It's wavy branches. As it's winter now, so the branches are all becoming visible again. Which is lovely. I do love to see the branches of the trees. But it's also sad, isn't it? Because all the leaves are gone. Just thicken that up a little bit there. There. Just thicken that one up there a little bit. So we've got a lovely wafty tree pages just on this one. So there, that'll do for today. So there we've got, just let that dry. And just left a little smudge there, but that's okay. So there we've got some very simply decorated junk journal pages. And yeah, they look kind of odd. They're all very different, but I don't mind that. And if I want to bring them all together, I'll just add a little bit more once this is dry. Just maybe put some of this, a larger one or something, along the bottom, so it ties it in with the other pages. And there you go, you've got some pages for a junk journal. And well, you can just carry on doing some more however you like. And then once we've got a nice bundle of pages together, we combine them. So have fun creating and take care, and I'll see you soon.